Let's start with Spring Security. So in the pom.xml, we have to add a dependency for Spring Security. So what Spring Security will do is, those who are authorized users, to only allow the authorized users to access the endpoint. And if the user is not authorized, then he or she will not be allowed to access the endpoint. Okay, so we don't have any dependency of that yet. So let's go and copy the repository and add it, copy the dependency and add it to the pom.xml. Search for Spring Security dependency maven. So once you get it, you click on this, and whichever the first pops up, take that, okay, and copy this and paste it in the dependency wherever you feel appropriate. Okay, the dependency, Control V, Control Shift F, Control Shift F. It will format it. Okay, this line is not needed, you can delete it. And now you can either refresh your maven. What I do is I clean my project, so it will import that dependency. And now once this dependency is imported, now if you try to hit any endpoint on the internet, it will ask you to authenticate yourself first. Okay, so if I try to hit any get API, for the post API, I cannot use the web page, right? I have to use either some JavaScript code, so I directly cannot access the post and delete and put APIs, but get I can access. So if I go to my SBI controller and try to access any of the get API, okay, so let me try to access this welcome simple, okay, welcome, because by default it is a get request. So if I start this application, and now see what happens. If I try to run this, it will first ask me to authenticate myself, and the default user is user, and the default password it will show me on the console. So I have to enter those credentials. So as I have added the Spring Security, now it will show me, it will give me a default alphanumeric password. Okay, so the default username is user, user, and the password will reflect on the console. Okay, so now you just cannot access the API directly, you'll have to enter this username and password. Okay, so look for the password over here. The application has started. It should have given some default password over here on the console. The dependency added for Spring Security, maven dependencies. Okay, Spring, yeah, security code is added. So if it is added, on the console, it might have, it normally says over there what is the default password. Okay, let's try to hit that endpoint first and see whether it allows us to hit the endpoint. I'll just take a simple example of try to hitting this welcome. Okay, so what is the slash vb1 slash welcome? Okay, and what is the port we are running this on? We are running this on port number 8083. So let's try to copy this from here and see what happens. 8083 SBI, and then we give welcome. So now if I try to hit this endpoint, what happened? Why is this directly accessing it? So I have, so all we have to do is just add the Maven dependency for Spring Security, and it does the rest. What happened? What is this telling? Moving version 5.7.8. Okay, let's use 5.7.8. Okay, now let's do a project clean. Okay, now let's do a start. Maybe this will have some vulnerabilities. Why is it not publishing the password? Because once I see the password over here, then only that API will work. Now let me try hitting it again. It's directly accessing it. Try changing the dependency to Spring Boot starter security and check. So project clean. Let's try it. Do this. And let's now try to run this. Okay, now you see. Now see it has generated a default password, right? Now if you try to hit the API, it will ask you to enter the password. So it will give you a login page now. So this is your Spring Boot security login page. You all see this page, right? And now yes, default is user and password is what you have got on the console. So copy this, and now if you now this is authenticate you. Now if you are authenticated user, then it will hit the API and you will get the response. Okay, and if it doesn't authenticate you, okay, so now let's say you again try to run this API, then it will not, if you enter a wrong password, it will not authenticate you. Okay, so if you want to get rid from this, that I don't want this alphanumeric password to be generated randomly, I want to set my own password, that you can set in the application properties. You can go to application properties, and over here you can set your own property. Okay, so as we are using a YAML file for our application properties, okay, so this is how you can set the password. Okay, so you can set spring. Inside spring we have data source. Okay, so inside spring you go 1 2 3 4 space, then you give security. Okay, then in security give user. Okay, 1 2 3 4 1 2 3, and then in user, so give the colon, give the colon. So if you want to change the name also, you can change the name also. Okay, so let's say you can change it to admin. This is our name, and you can change the password also. So spring security user dot name, and similarly user dot password. Okay, and you can set that now. So spring user, so spring is on top. Spring is on top, line number 1. Then I'm in this bracket, spring security user name admin, spring security user password admin. Okay, so make these changes, save it, do a rerun. Yeah, you just missed out the number of spaces. Okay, so what we can do is, what we can do in this case is, what we can do, it is, okay, so normally if you go to your properties file, it will be spring dot security dot user dot name. So whatever name you want to give, and similarly spring dot secure dot user dot password equals to admin. Now if you want to convert this into a, what was this, properties to YAML, right? So you can always do it, properties to YAML converter. So you can go there, choose this file. Okay, put the properties code over here, and then you can convert it, submit, and it will convert it to your YAML. You can copy this, go to your application local, and you can paste that. The spring is already pasted on top, right? So no need to give spring. So you can give this spring security username admin username password. Now you can rerun the application. Now what happened? Okay, spring security will be one step back, right? Spring security will come here. So copy from the security part and put it in the line of JPA. Take the cursor over here and place it over here. Okay, so this YAML will check for the alignment. Okay, still not aligned. So remove this. Okay, now come in line up with that, and now paste. Now save. Now run. Now if you will try to hit that endpoint, 8083 welcome. Now you can hit enter your own credentials, admin and you go, and you have logged in successfully. Okay, so this is called as authentication, and this is Spring's default way of authentication. Now as we have set our own username and password, Spring did not publish any of its password over here. Okay, so this is your authentication. Okay, so there are two terms which are very ambiguous. Okay, you will get to hear a lot of these two terms, authentication and authorization. So any idea what these two are? Can anyone differentiate this for me? So authenticate and authorize, what difference do you think is between these two words? Samreen?
So authorize mean authorize, like जो admin वगैरह होता है, CEO वाला staff वही authorize कर सकता है कुछ चीजों को, बाकी का staff नहीं कर सकता. और authenticate mean कि ये सही है क्या वो check करना चाहिए.
See, I'll give you a very simple example. Okay, you book a online hotel room. Okay, you're traveling with your family and you have booked a room online. And when you book the room, they ask you for your mobile number or your email address, whatever. Okay, now you walk up to the hotel receptionist and you tell, my name is so and so and I have booked a room for so and so date. This is my booking ID. Okay, you show the booking ID. So they tell, okay ma'am, we have sent your OTP on your registered mobile number or email address which you used to book the ticket. Please can you share the OTP? Now if I had the booking ID and I went on your behalf, can I present the OTP to them? Because OTP has gone to the registered mobile number, right?
Yes.
So people cannot fake you. So it has to be the original person who has booked the room. Okay, but if you did not travel with them and you had booked a room for them, so immediately they will give you a call that Samreen, that OTP has come to your mobile number, please share that OTP. Right or wrong? So unless that OTP is entered, your room, they will not allot you the room, correct? So
Yes.
this OTP will authenticate you. What it will do? Authenticate. Now it is a legitimate user. Please allow the user inside. Okay. Now once you authenticated, okay, so you go to the room, you put your bags over there, and then you realize that there is a gym also in this hotel. Okay, and you have a habit of working out in the evening. So you take your gym bag and then you try to enter the gym of the hotel. The guard over there will see, ma'am, can I see your booking ID? Okay, the booking ID was 1234. You show 1234. He says, ma'am, in your stay, gym is not included. You only have access to your room and you have access to the dining room. That's all you have access to. If you want to access the gym, please pay a amount of 2000 rupees extra and I will allow you to access the gym. So this person is authenticated but is not authorized. Understood?
Yes.
So he is authenticated but he is not authorized to access the gym. Okay, so you have authorized only to access your room in which you will stay and the dining area where you will have your food. Apart from that, whatever service is there is not covered in your stay. So if let's say you want to go to the salon over there, so they will say, ma'am, can I have your booking ID? You give the booking ID. So you say salon will be charge extra. In your stay it is not covered. So you will have to pay 2000 rupees extra to enter and avail the services of. Right or wrong?
Yes,
So
sir.
likewise, no, there are few APIs which can be hit by the admin user. So let's say if I am a HOD and then I have some staff under me, and then those staff teach the students. Okay, so HOD can view all staff, view attendance of staff, right or wrong? So if this is the
Yes, sir.
endpoint, view attendance of department staff. If this is the endpoint which will access the department name, so what will you provide to it? And it will show the details of all teachers of that department. So this API can be hit only by whom?
Admin.
Admin. If the staff tries to hit this API, is that staff authorized?
No, sir.
Staff is not authorized. So staff is given a employee ID and user ID and password. It is authenticated, but it is not authorized to hit this API. So if the staff tries to hit this API, it will show 403 error, forbidden. You know, we did yesterday. We discussed that error.
Yes.
So if the staff tries to hit this, that I, as a staff member, I want to see the attendance of all the other staff members, will be forbidden, and 403 response will be thrown. And if the HOD tries to access, so this is called as role based authorization. What is this called as?
Role-based authorization.
So you are authorized based on your role. Now student can only mark his attendance. Can the student mark attendance of his fellow colleague?
No, sir.
No. HOD can mark the attendance of the student. If the student has forgotten to mark the attendance and the HOD and the student raises a complaint, he writes an email. Ma'am, I was present for that day, but I am marked absent. This is the proof that I was present. You can see the CCTV camera footage. I was there in the college that day. And the HOD is convinced. Then HOD can open the system and mark the attendance of any student. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So based on the role, you are allowed to access the endpoints. So if you are authorized, you can access the endpoint. If you are not authorized, it will show you a 403 forbidden error. Got it? So authenticate.
Yes.
So what did we do now? What did we learn today? How Spring Security what?
Security.
Authenticates, authorize. What did we learn today?
Spring security authentication.
Authentication, right? So if I don't provide any settings in the properties, it will take the password which is given to me in the console, and the default username is user, USER. But if I want to change my own user and password, I can anytime set it with this spring.security.user.name. See, this is the entire stuff. Okay, so you can just take this. So you can just take that and punch it and convert it to YAML file. So this is the property, and this is the YAML version of that property. So you set that, and whatever username and password you get, now you have to provide this to hit the endpoint. Okay. Now with this you can access any of the endpoint, because we have not done authorization yet. Correct?